Have you ever felt it? The sudden, unexpected hug from a woman that hits differently than any ordinary greeting? You feel it, even before you realize why. It's not random. It's not just friendliness. That moment, that hug, carries a weight, a message, a signal your mind barely registers, but your instincts can't ignore. Most men shrug it off, calling it casual or polite. But I want you to understand something crucial. When a woman hugs you first, she's giving you a glimpse into her inner world, and it's far more revealing than words ever could be. Here's the truth most men miss. A hug is her subconscious speaking, and it's usually far more honest than the conversations she carefully curates. You see, women are trained by society to filter, to manage, to protect themselves. Words can be guarded, smiles can be rehearsed, even laughter can be a mask. But a hug bypasses all defenses. It's raw, instinctive, and deeply revealing. When she steps into your space first, when she decides to reach out physically, she's either telling you, I feel comfortable with you, or I want you to notice me, really notice me. But here's the complexity that almost no one explains. The hug is never just about affection. It's a test, a subtle measure of your response, your presence, your energy. Women often unconsciously use touch as a way to read emotional strength. Your reaction. Do you stiffen? Do you relax? Do you hold her presence? Or do you retreat? Tells her everything she wants to know. And most men never even realize they're being evaluated in a moment they assumed was innocent. That's the first brutal truth. What seems like a casual hug is actually an intimate psychological exchange. And don't make the mistake of assuming that every hug means attraction. It doesn't. Sometimes it's curiosity, sometimes it's trust, sometimes it's a way for her to gauge your confidence under subtle pressure. But here's the kicker. The hug leaves an imprint on her mind almost instantly. You don't need to say a word for her to start cataloging impressions. Your scent, your posture, your energy, the way your eyes meet hers, it all feeds an internal narrative about you, and that narrative starts to shape her feelings long before she consciously recognizes them. Most men fail because they treat hugs like small talk. They step in, give a half-hearted squeeze, and move on, oblivious to the psychological storm that's happening. But if you pay attention, if you slow down, if you become aware of your own presence, the first hug she gives you is a doorway into understanding not just her intentions, but also your own ability to hold space, to command respect without words, and to connect at a level that bypasses logic entirely. Here's a quiet truth. The hug doesn't just reveal her feelings, it reflects your current level of self-awareness. If you flinch, if you ignore it, you teach her something about your boundaries, your confidence, and your emotional availability. If you lean in, if you mirror her energy, if you hold her presence without fear, you demonstrate traits that words can't convey. Strength, empathy, and emotional intelligence, all wrapped in a single fleeting embrace. Let's go deeper, because the hug is never just physical. It's a language, a map of her emotions, and a mirror of your own energy. When a woman initiates a hug, she's doing more than seeking warmth or comfort. She's testing your emotional pulse. She's asking, without words, who are you really? Can I trust you with space, with presence, with intimacy? And most men fail this test before they even realize it exists. You see, men are trained to respond to touch either with aggression or awkwardness, or worse, with indifference. But a woman's hug is delicate, precise, and intentional. She's measuring your reaction in microseconds, the way your hands fall, whether your chest opens or closes, how steady your gaze is. Every subtle movement speaks louder than words ever could. A hug is not just a greeting, it's a lens into your character. Here's a secret most men don't know. When she hugs you first, she's exposing vulnerability. That's not easy. Women are rarely vulnerable unless they feel a thread of safety or intrigue. And here's where psychology plays its sharp edge. She's not just testing your confidence, she's testing your emotional awareness. If you stiffen, if you rush it, if you treat it like an obligation, she registers it instantly. Her subconscious writes it down. He's not present, he's not aware, he's unavailable. That's it. Just like that, attraction diminishes in ways you can't undo. But if you respond with awareness, with subtlety, with presence, something remarkable happens. You communicate strength and calm without speaking a word. You say, I see you, I respect you, I can handle your presence. That combination, confidence wrapped in emotional intelligence, is magnetic. It triggers a deep psychological response in her brain. She starts associating you with safety, trust, and subtle excitement, even if she hasn't consciously realized it yet. That's why some men who barely speak seem to have this inexplicable pull over women. They master the unspoken language of presence. Now, consider this. The hug also serves as an emotional thermometer. Women use it to measure your energy, your mood, your current psychological state. Are you stressed, tense, distracted, or fully present? It's all on display. And here's the brutal truth. Most men fail this test because they ignore it. They think the hug is just an act of kindness, a social nicety, a casual gesture. But it's not. Every hug is a micro moment of connection, a psychological imprint that can either deepen her interest or subtly push her away. Here's what separates men who attract from men who frustrate. Awareness. Awareness of your body, your energy, your boundaries. Awareness of her subtle cues, her breath, her posture, the way she tilts her head. Awareness of the unspoken messages she's sending, even before she opens her mouth. When you master this, the hug becomes a tool, not just a moment. It becomes a way to communicate presence, strength, and emotional intelligence in a single instant. Now let's strip it down to the raw truth, the real reasons a woman hugs you first, reasons most men will never see coming. It's not always about attraction, and it's not always about affection. The hug is her silent communication, a psychological signal layered with intention, curiosity, and sometimes even challenge. Understanding this is what separates men who remain invisible from those who leave a mark she can't forget. First, the hug can be a sign of emotional testing. She wants to see how you handle closeness without words. Do you retreat? Do you respond awkwardly? Or do you match her energy, creating a sense of unspoken harmony? This is a deep, almost instinctive evaluation. Women are wired to scan subtle cues. They notice how steady you are, how present you remain, and even how confident you are in silence. Every micro movement of your body is cataloged, your shoulders, your posture, even the firmness of your handshake afterward. If you fail this test, even unknowingly, she will distance herself without saying a single word. Second, the hug can signal trust or curiosity. When she initiates, she is letting her guard down slightly, a rare and valuable thing in her world. But she's also observing, is he someone I can be around without fear? This is why the hug feels electric sometimes, almost heavier than a casual touch. It's a combination of instinct and psychology. If you respond correctly, if you remain calm, attentive, and present, you validate her choice to step into that vulnerable space. You send the subconscious message, you can trust me, and I recognize your courage. That imprint lingers far longer than she might consciously realize. Third, the hug can be a subtle declaration of interest. Women often use touch before they use words because words can be manipulated, filtered, or misunderstood. A hug is a pure, unfiltered channel. By hugging first, she's testing the waters, sending a signal, and seeing if you catch it. Most men miss it entirely because they overthink or dismiss the gesture. But if you notice, if you understand, if you respond with presence and confidence, you're stepping into a rare zone of connection, a zone where words are unnecessary and attraction is silently amplified. And here's the hardest part for most men, recognizing the balance between receptivity and restraint. You cannot overreact. You cannot be cold. You must exist in that precise space where your energy is felt, but not overwhelming, where your presence communicates strength, curiosity, and emotional intelligence simultaneously. That is the sweet spot she is unconsciously searching for in that first hug. Miss it, and it's gone. Master it, and you're remembered. Finally, understand that a hug is never just a hug. It's a statement about timing, intention, and psychological alignment. Every woman has an internal filter, an invisible checklist, and a mental map of emotional chemistry. By hugging first, she's opening a door and quietly asking, will you enter fully aware, or will you stumble before stepping inside? Most men stumble. Few enter fully aware. Few realize that in that moment she's observing everything about who they are and what they're capable of emotionally. Now let's talk about what to do when she hugs you first. The moment that defines not just her perception of you, but your own ability to navigate connection with awareness and confidence. Most men react without thinking. They rush, they stiffen, or they treat it as nothing more than a friendly gesture. But the truth is, how you respond in these few seconds speaks volumes about your emotional intelligence, your presence, and your subconscious communication skills. First, slow down. Let the hug land. Don't rush it, and don't overthink it. Feel her energy. This is about presence, not action. A woman who hugs first is revealing herself, and your job is to acknowledge that revelation without disrupting it. Stand tall, breathe, and let yourself absorb the unspoken message she's giving you. If you hesitate or pull away too quickly, she registers discomfort, even if your mind tells you it was just a casual greeting. Second, engage subtly. A proper response isn't about squeezing tightly or holding on too long. It's about mirroring her energy and matching her intention. Lean in slightly, meet her warmth, and let your body language communicate calm confidence. Eyes are powerful here. Don't avert them. Hold gentle, natural eye contact if it feels right. You're not interrogating her. You're not making it awkward, but you are sending a silent message. I see you and I can handle this space. That in itself sparks respect and intrigue. Third, understand boundaries. A hug is intimate, but it's also safe if you respect it. Don't push further unless she opens the door for it. This demonstrates emotional intelligence, control, and respect. Ironically, this restraint often makes you more magnetic than any overt display of interest. Women notice when a man can hold the line between connection and overreach. That control creates psychological tension, subtle attraction, and a lasting impression. Fourth, let it linger mentally. After she steps back, notice what happened. Replay it in your mind, not obsessively, but analytically. What did her body language tell you? What did your reaction convey? This reflection is a secret advantage most men never use. By learning from these micro moments, you sharpen your awareness, improve your presence, and become the kind of man who can communicate more in a single hug than others do in an hour of conversation. Finally, here's a truth to carry. Every hug is a chance to demonstrate your value without words. Every touch, every pause, every breath is a micro declaration of confidence, presence, and emotional intelligence. And if you master this, women notice it instinctively. They feel it, they remember it, and that simple, brief gesture, when approached correctly, can be the start of deep attraction, trust, and curiosity that words alone can't achieve. Now here's something for you. I want you to reflect and act. Next time a woman hugs you first, pause and ask yourself this equation. Do I respond with awareness, or do I let instinct drive me into oblivion? Comment your answer below. And if this video gave you clarity, insight, or a new way to see these hidden psychological signals, like subscribe and share it with a friend who needs to hear this. Because this isn't just a video, it's a lesson most men will never learn, and it could change the way you connect forever.